All right. Hey everyone, welcome to the first race of our 2026 gravel racing season, the Mid-South. We're here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This is our second time down here for this race. Our first time was last year, and with all the high winds picking up wildfires, they had to cancel it, so didn't get to race last year. But we're back, ready to go, and I got a little bit more pre-riding in today on top of what I got to pre-ride last year, and this race course is phenomenal. It's ripping fast gravel. It's a little bit more elevation, I would say, than something like Gravel Worlds that I raced last year. And yeah, this course is right up my alley. So I'm super, super excited to get this race season going. But before we do that, I just want to fill you in on kind of three different things, where we're at right now, or where I'm at right now with my racing and my race program and everything I've got going on. What my big goals are for this year, and then third, what I'm going to try and change to achieve those goals. So where we're at now kind of begins with a recap of last season, and we had some really big wins, specifically winning BWR Utah 2025. That was 5 years in the making, 4 years of top 10 at that race, 1 year missed it with injury, and then fifth time finally got to stand on that #1 podium spot. Super, super special. Other than that, we had a third place at Foco Fondo, so that was a pretty cool result. But where we fell short was in the big races, such as Unbound, had a chain drop and a flat tire, chased my heart out, had amazing legs, but got 47th on the day, not gonna do it. Gravel Nationals, feeling awesome, going into the halfway aid station, dropped my bottle, thought I could stop and pick it up, but it was on a downhill, never saw the front group again. And then Gravel Worlds, feeling amazing going into the race, crashed in the mud right away, stuck in the mud, couldn't get out in time, missed the lead 2 groups, race over right then and there. So while I had some good results and I definitely had some good power and good legs, all those 3 races that I had kind of catastrophes at the end of the day, if I can't match it up with a result, it's not going to go so far for me. So that brings me to where we're at today, with negotiations over the winter time. We had a ton of partners that are super happy with what we're doing and happy to keep us level with last year. We had a couple that went away and then a couple that stepped up. The biggest thing we've heard that they want to see is just a result at a higher end race, like a Lifetime Grand Prix event, a Mid-South, a Gravel Worlds, something in there getting on that podium. So that leads us into our goals, and that is exactly what our goals are for this year, is to get a podium or better at a A-level race. And deep down, if you do ask me, like, that has been my goal all along. I don't go out there day-to-day training, like just smashing my face with my intervals to try and just be up there, the guy with the camera that wants to get the shot. Like, no, I'm thinking about winning these races or attacking and coming in solo like that day at BWR, but doing it at a bigger race. That's what's on my mind when I'm out training and when I'm going into races. I do love creating the videos for you guys. I came from snowboarding, and creativity is such a piece of who I am. So I'm super fortunate that that has became part of this program, but it is still just a part. But being the best athlete that I can be and reaching for my highest potential as an athlete is my #1 goal. And that leads me into the third thing. What am I going to do different to try and achieve this goal that is sometimes seems so far away? Because last year, our best race at a lifetime event was 24th or 25th place at Big Sugar last season. I was in the sprint for 5th place, but obviously didn't come out super well. Then Gravel Nationals was another one that I was around 17th, 18th place. So the biggest thing I'm going to be doing different this year is just being the athlete first. Last year, so many times I would skip my core routines, stay up way too late, or get up too early to try and get the content out to you guys as fast as possible and hit the YouTube algorithms. And what I'm doing this year is setting strict guidelines, bedtime, wake time, making sure that I don't miss my core routines, my strength, my stretching, or my bike rides, cutting them short to work on content. That might mean it's going to look like a little bit less race films like this one for this season, and maybe a little bit more of the raw file stuff. I know you guys enjoy that, and that's a lot easier for me to put together than a full-on race film. So until I can acquire the resources I need to be a bike racer and a YouTuber full-time, that's just how it's going to be for the time being. And then I guess one more thing that I really am trying to keep front of my mind is all of you guys out there that might have been going through something like I was in the last 10 to 15 years. Following my leg injury, I had compartment syndrome in college, had both my legs cut open, pieces of my calf muscles taken out to try and make more room for my arteries as they were getting cut off when I was running. And I spent a whole lot of time in chronic pain, and it took me a very long time to get out of that. And very fortunately, I've found processes and strategies that have helped me stay out of it for a little while now. But sometimes with all of the stuff going on with racing, running the business, with finances, I can almost forget about those years and forget about what that was like. So I'm trying to keep that front of mind every day, knowing where I came from to where I am now, and how blessed and fortunate I am to be able to do what I'm doing here, racing at an elite level, when many experts told me that I was never going to be a pro athlete and I was just going to be stuck in a life managing chronic pain. For those of you, again, watching that might be going through something as I was there, don't give up. Don't listen to those people that say you can't do it. Keep searching, keep surrounding yourself with better people that believe they can help you. And with time, you will find your own processes and strategies to overcome whatever adversities you're facing. So with all that being said, that's what I've got for you guys with what's on my mind going into the 2026 season. But outside of that, I'm just ready to get racing, ready to get ripping tomorrow on this brand new Mog that I've got behind me. And speaking of that, we're gonna fast forward right now to tomorrow at the event, and I'm gonna tell you all the details on my new bike and what I did differently this year to make some gains for going faster. All right, so we are here now, day before the race. They're setting up the start-finish line right over there. Got the band setting up over there. So it is queuing up to be an awesome time for tomorrow and for Saturday. But anyways, I'm here to take you through my brand new Enve Mog that I'll be racing on for the 2026 season. Now this is the same exact frame geometry that I raced on last season. So that made transferring my bike fit over from last year super easy. We just got out in this brand new, super awesome paint scheme with the white to kind of like a gray charcoal. And yeah, I just can't get enough of this color. It is so sick. So with the frame, I'm running the same 1x mullet setup, kind of road shifters up front, mountain bike derailleur in the back. The frame is UDH, so you can do SRAM or Shimano, whatever you want to put on there. I like the 1x, just simple, less things to think about and more robust. Then moving on down the line, we are running the Enve SES 4.5s again. I had started with the 3.4s last year, but then kind of migrated to the 4.5s. A lot of our racing is 22, 23 plus mile an hour averages for the day, and with the extra aero benefits that the 4.5s have, I just see them now as kind of the best all-around wheel to use for gravel racing. So moving on to the big thing I did change for this season, and that's gonna be the cockpit. So I went down to 37mm aero bars, and they're gonna be 42 at the drop. So when I'm doing single track or technical stuff, I still have a decently wide position. It's certainly been the trend that I've been watching over the last 2 years is the super narrow handlebars, and I don't wanna go really crazy because I still like to have some handling ability with 42s in the drops, but getting down to 37 on the top, I think that's going to make a big impact for me this season, being more aero, saving energy, and being able to get some better results. And then finally, we are sticking with Garmin again this year, so I'll be running the same 1040 head unit up front to have the big map, all my stuff displayed on there, and then the Rally power meter pedals reading power up to that head unit as always. Super reliable, and I can move those from bike to bike, so the power stays exactly the same, as consistency in a power meter is something that you really want to have. So anyways, that's the bike setup for Mid-South 2025. I am absolutely thrilled with the changes that I've been able to make, and now I'm set up better than I ever have been before leading into the season of racing. With the start not being until 1 p.m., I did get to sleep in just a bit more rather than the normal 3 or 4 a.m. wake up to have breakfast ahead of a 6 or 7 a.m. start. And my wife was actually racing the half marathon in the morning, so I got up, had a nice breakfast, and pedaled down to watch her finish. So that was really fun getting to see her finish her race and get to share that moment with her, and also helped me stay a little bit less nervous. However, once we did get to the start line, all lined up, the whole crowd out there, I am not gonna lie, I am extremely nervous in this moment. It is the first race of the year, and you just don't really know where you're gonna be at as far as your fitness goes, where you stack up against everyone else. And my coach and I have made the goal of getting into the early breakaway. And as you can see, I'm lined up right away on the front row, ready to go, ready to follow any attacks that are going to set off as we make our way to this start.
3, 2, 1.
So we've made the right turn onto this pavement section, and we now have a good tailwind as we're heading towards the gravel that's going to have a ton of pretty nasty rollers. So the speed's super high, the draft behind is minimal, and if you can get away from the group, this is that moment that when the group hesitates, you can gain so much distance. But I think everybody kind of knows this as we are all just attacking each other and really trying to get up the road. And nothing is really being let go here at the moment too much. Now I just want to make one quick note. As you saw earlier, both Julian and Chase have aero bars. They are still allowed in this race. It's a little bit crazy in my opinion that pro races are still letting people use aero bars, but nonetheless, it is within the rules, so they are doing nothing wrong. So I just want to make note of that as we continue on. At this point in the race, it's still super early, and while it's been spicy, I'm still feeling decent. I think most of the guys in our race at this level can feel really good at this moment in time. So trying to stick a breakaway here is just a matter of trying to get myself in a move and hoping that the peloton will sit up and let us go. It's not really being super strong to make a breakaway happen. It's more the peloton is going to let you go or hesitate, and that's when you can get away. So I'm going to keep on going here and keep fighting to try and get in that move. After being pretty aggressive early on here in these opening 10 or so miles, I'm finding myself here in a move with Michael Garrison, Kobe Freeburn, and Henry Nelson. This is actually the second move I've been in off the front, and I'm not gonna lie, I am struggling a bit. It's been an incredibly fast pace with many attacks, many people trying to get up the road, and with the tailwind, you don't get as much of a draft benefit, which is why we're attacking here. But that also means the stronger guys are able to roll away a little bit easier as we're going up and down hills with less draft. It just kind of makes it incredibly hard, even if you're in the group. Now my hopes is that we are going to be let go here and the group would sit up. However, this would not be the case today, and you can see here the group rolls up on us, and we are now heading down into a right-hander and up a little bit of a drag that when I pre-rode didn't seem that special, but in the race here, I found it to be such a hard point, and you can see right in front of me that Julian is letting the wheel go, and I'm not quick enough to jump around him. And the gap grows a little bit. I finally do make the jump, but as I'm doing this, I realize that I can't close this gap because as I'm doing 600-700 watts here, I still see them riding away. And I believe Cam Jones was on the front of that group, really driving the pace. So I flick my elbow and get a couple people to come around me. But again, as I'm accelerating to try and get on these guys' wheels at 500, 600, 700 watts, I'm still not able to get up to speed. And I let another gap open just a little bit, and such a bummer that this ends up being the main split of the day, and I am missing it right here. So only 13 miles in and missing this main split and what felt like the whole field riding away. In reality, it was around 20 guys, but when you're in there in the moment, it literally felt like 40, 50 guys were up the road. And now I'm in a group of 4 with 3 other guys that I do not recognize at all. And yeah, I'm just thinking that, wow, my race is already over about 20 minutes into this thing. And I'm also just suffering super hard just trying to stay in this group of guys. And we can still see the pack up just a little bit in front of us, but the chances of us coming back to them are pretty slim. So I'm just trying to hang in, do my turns as I can, but not overdo it to not get dropped from this group, because as far as I'm thinking, there's really no one behind me that can help. However, after just a couple miles of working together, we look back and we see a very large group of riders coming up towards us. And as they approach, I'm very pleasantly surprised to see none other than Chad Haga, who was second place at Unbound 2 years ago, Dylan Johnson, Griffin Hoppinen here, who is the U23 Grand Prix champion, and Julian Gagne, who is, I would say, the strongest guy on the lunchbox racing team, which that team has about 6 guys in this race today. And then really just a couple minutes later, as I'm able to settle into the pace of this group, which is noticeably less intense than the start of this race was, I am able to pretty much fully come around, and the race went from being super hard and a big kind of tragic moment mentally for me to being relatively easy, and then feeling a little bit better about where I am at in the race, knowing that there are other strong riders with me. And from here, we just continue to press on with Dylan, Chad, myself, Griffin, and a couple of those other younger riders pushing the pace pretty decently here. All right, let's rewind a little bit and take another look at this crash. As you see here, Griffin comes up my inside pretty quick and just doesn't have enough time to react. Tries to hop this little mud hole, hits it with his back wheel, and just endos over the front. And then here, if we take a look at Justin's footage, you can actually see it ended up being about a 4-person pileup. So I was super lucky here that Griffin hopped to the right instead of the left after he crashed, so I was able to avoid it. But at this moment, there were quite a few guys sitting on the back, so I'm happy that the group is actually getting a little bit smaller as Chad continues to push it up this hill and see if we can get a little bit more cohesive work together to move faster than we were before. A little bit further up the road at mile 34 here, we end up catching Drew Dillman and Joe Laverick. And I am a bit happy about this because I know both of them are pretty strong and will add some firepower to the group. However, this does create a little bit more interesting dynamic as we have 3 members from the lunchbox racing team in our group. And I've been noticing that Julian Gagne is just kind of sitting on the back in his aero bars and not really contributing to the group at all. And I do know he's definitely the strongest guy on that team. So I'm thinking they're playing that card that they're saving him for a last minute attack. And thinking about it, if I was them, that's exactly what I would be doing. They do have Chase Wark and Henry Nelson still up the road, so they're not going to work super hard to help us catch them, but they want to have that backup plan because they probably know that Chase and Henry aren't going to be able to hang with those lead guys for the whole entire race. So they don't want to give them too big of a leash, and Drew definitely contributes to the chase really well as we keep on moving here down the road. Now, just after getting through Guthrie, I've definitely noticed that a lot of the guys in our group are hurting and the pace has been ebbing and flowing with some of those guys just not really able to pull through on the front. I think this added some extra frustration to both Drew and Dylan with the pace being slow, and they started really attacking ahead of going into the XXX Road, which is kind of this long, chunky downhill that comes around miles 70 to 77 or so. And this is where our group finally started to shed some more people and we thinned it out. Now, I am still saving myself for the creek crossing that's coming up at mile 82, so I'm not putting any attacks in myself. But as we shed people and as Drew and Dylan really are pushing the pace with their attacks, I do roll through to keep things going, as I'm happy to get this group a lot thinner before we go into that creek crossing, which is going to be something that you can really only do single file. Either make sure I'm attacking through there on the front, or that I'm able to respond to attack, chase back on out of there, because it is a little bit of an uphill drag coming out of that creek. But to not get too far ahead of ourselves, as we're heading down XXX, we now make the catch on both Chase Wark and Henry Nelson. So we now, at this point, have 4 lunchbox riders in our group. We had dropped one of the younger ones. So right now it's Chase, Julian, Henry, and Drew. And things get very, very interesting as we start to do a little bit of a chess match here. And I have to be very, very careful and attentive because I definitely don't want Drew or Julian to get up the road. But then Chase also has his aero bars, so if he somehow regains some energy and gets ahead. So I'm definitely keeping my head up and kind of following attacks, rolling through lightly if I do get away with one of the lunchbox guys, as I'm prepared for if we get chased down, another lunchbox guy to attack, and then I want to be able to respond to that. So after playing a lot of games kind of through the bottom of that XXX Road, across the bridge, and then back onto the gravel, you'll see that cresting this hill, we are a group of just 6 riders here in Dylan, Drew, Skylar Taylor, Beckham Drake, Julian, and myself. After taking a moment to look back and seeing that we have a gap on everyone else, and knowing that this is just 2 out of 4 lunchbox teammates plus a couple other guys, I'm pretty happy to go into the creek crossing like this. So I roll through and we keep things moving pretty good as we approach that creek crossing coming up at mile 87.
I don't care, fame in myself. Mother man replaced me a bed. Maggie May, everything's gonna be away. I can't relax myself, but it keeps me alive. Soon I'll be getting my high. Good life, one place it down by the road. Rolling a goal and a mic that is all. I won't struggle for pleasure. Sworn in the water, well I need to see you, the science me. I get the feeling that I won't retreat. Won't say back home. Watch television, it's not what I do. You cannot be the one that I knew. Somebody else make me desire. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home. Hurricane high life, somebody else make me desire. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home.
So the creek crossing went pretty much perfect to plan. I sliced right through Drew and Julian and was able to lead across the creek in a line that I'd already pre-rode the day before, and got out of there first and made my way up the hill. Now I'm not full on attacking here because I am feeling some cramps coming on and I'm starting to get tired, so I know I can't make it against a group of guys on my own. Both Julian and Drew come through and I hop on their wheel, look back, it's just the 3 of us. We have a gap and Julian is absolutely drilling it on the front of this group. Now this is a tricky situation for me with 2 of the same teammates and myself. I gotta play this one super safe and not do any big efforts, because if they start throwing 1-2 punches to get away from me, that's what my biggest concern is, and I don't want that to happen. But thankfully, Julian here is in his aero bars and doing most of the work for us, pulling us away from the rest of the riders as Drew and I kind of suck air for this moment in time. And we actually see that we're closing in on another rider, so that kind of lights the fire in me. I'm still not aware that Drew is hurting like he had told me by the end of the race, so I am kind of saving all my energy and my might to follow what might be an attack by him through this farm section. There is a little bit of technical stuff, nothing crazy at all, just kind of a little rocky, chunky 2-track and then some chunky downhill. So yeah, I'm just preparing for any big efforts that I might need to make in this section to get out of here to where it's about 7 or 8 miles to go.
Hurricane high life, somebody else make me desire. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home. Hurricane high life, somebody else make me desire. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home. I don't care, fame in herself. Mother man replaced me a bed. Maggie May, everything's gonna be away. I can't relax myself.
Rain's right up there, boys.
So after making it through this farm section, catching Alexi, he lets us know that Brennan is just up the road. We've got him in our sights, and it's a group of 4 of us. So I'm just thinking hopefully we can just maintain a nice rotation and chase Brennan down and then have a nice sprint to the line for the finish. It's only about 7 miles to go from here, but we do have some significant rollers left. So in my mind, I'm just thinking about trying to survive these rollers and roll in for that sprint.
You only have one take to make a change. Hurricane high life, somebody else make me decide. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home. Hurricane high life, somebody else make me decide. Hurricane high life, I'm coming home.
Fast forward a little bit further with Julian throwing in an attack on the downhill. Alexi does hit it and I'm able to jump on his wheel, and then I look back and see that we dropped Drew, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna try and chase this down to get there. And we make our way back to Julian, who then looks back and rightfully sits up a little bit, as this is not a great situation for him, having just dropped his teammate and now having both Alexi and myself here. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh, this is great for me because I don't want Drew in here. I would like to beat him if I can. So I go to the front and just start to lightly pull, thinking that I am saving enough energy to hop back on if another attack goes, pull down the hill, and then Julian just lights it up with Alexi on his wheel, and I'm just not quite able to respond high enough, as even you see me doing 500 watts here, and it looks like they're just pulling away from me, that I'm standing still. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer here at this moment, and I watched them make the catch on Brennan, and for the next 6 miles, I am just ever so slowly seeing them pull away and pull away and pull away by 1, 2, 3 more seconds. As I painfully sit in the TT mode, trying as much as I can to catch them, hoping that they would maybe play some games, but then also keep Drew at bay. As this goes on, I can look back and see that I'm putting some good distance on Drew, and then as we approach town, I realize that I'm not going to be able to make the catch on Alexi, Julian, and Brennan. So I take this moment to just slow down a little bit and really take it in with this finish. Again, just like the start, this finish line is absolutely filled with fans. This was a really fun and special moment for me as a gravel racer to hype up the fans a little bit and cross that line with so many people spectating.
East. Nice shot. Oh, that's cramping everywhere. That one last dig you had. Oh man, I thought my race was over so soon because it was so hard, but then yeah, I just kept riding and kept coming around. So. Where was it top 20? Somewhere in there? Nice. Yeah.
Now, when I do cross the finish line, I am a bit surprised by the reaction from Kendra, as she is super stoked to see me, and she's like, where did that come from? As if I did an amazing job, and me thinking that I got like 18th place. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I finished the race, I guess, but then we got to talking and chatting and knowing a little bit more. It happened to be less than 10 minutes from when Kobe Freeburn, the ultimate winner of the day, came in a 3-up sprint with Cam Jones getting second and Michael Garrison getting third. And then a couple minutes later, it was a small group. A couple minutes after that, it was the small group of Alexi, Julian, and Brennan. And then there I was for a 10th place finish at the Mid-South Gravel. And once I found this out, definitely so ecstatic and surprised and just really happy with this result. Yeah, I've been working so hard over the winter. We've really picked it up a notch with the training and with all the tough negotiations with sponsors, just getting everything lined up for the year. It feels really, really good to be able to start the year with a good race and a good result like this. And while I still am, looking back on it, slightly disappointed that I wasn't able to get into that lead group, watching the footage again and going through the race, knowing that our strategy was to get in that lead breakaway and having spent some of my matches to get up there, I'm not super upset with me having not made that group. I know I'm still not quite to the level of those top guys like Michael Garrison, who was in the move with me right before the split happened. He was able to succeed at that split, but that's okay. It's still super early in the year and there's so much room for progress for me to keep reaching towards that goal of a top 5 and then a podium at a race like this. This race is a massive step forward for me and really, really happy to start the year off like this. Now, as I just noted, it has been a very tough year with sponsorships, but I do have to say a huge thank you to all of you guys here watching. I still have a great amount of support from our current partners, and I would not have this much support if it weren't for all you guys tuning in and watching our videos and subscribing to us here on YouTube. So thank you so much for that. If you would like to go one step further in helping Ken and I keep getting to the races and making films like this one, we do have a Patreon page set up where you can support us with a small monthly contribution. I know a lot of you guys like to watch our videos while you are riding your indoor trainers and doing a workout yourself. And right now you can actually watch the full 3+ hours of footage that I captured from this race with data overlay on that platform if you choose to sign up. So with all that being said, the next race you're going to be able to find us at will be Sea Otter Gravel, where we definitely had a bit of a doozy last year, so coming in for some redemption this year. And yeah, just remember, through everything in life, all the adversity that you're facing, rather than taking it as a setback, think of it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and rise stronger on the other side of it.